Greetings, folks. This is DC Investing. I talk about topics that help others on their pathway to financial independence, or because I've reached financial independence. I forgot to say that. Today, I want to talk about kind of a more technical term that I had never encountered in the past 20 years of investing until this year when I got a Robinhood margin loan account. And the issue that I encountered is kind of an education thing for you. It was called substitute payments for in lieu of dividends or interest, and I had never seen that. It's always been on my brokerage firm tax accounts, but the value that I received was always zero until this year. And so I did some research on what this was, and basically what happens is if you loan out your shares to the brokerage. If the brokerage house takes them and they loan them to short sellers, the short sellers get ownership of those shares. They owe the shares back to the brokerage, but then they turn around and sell those shares out into the open market. And then eventually they owe you those shares and they have to pay you back shares. So basically, this causes two things that are not good for investors. And so Robinhood has this option that they try to get you to check quite a bit, which is stock lending. And if you enable that, then they give you some of the revenue that you get from stock lending. I'm sure you don't get all of it. But by default, I got enabled for that because I have a margin account, even though I did not have stock lending enabled. So that's something to know. Robinhood will lend out your shares in a margin account, regardless if you have given them permission to do that or not. And it's a clause written into their agreement. So two bad things happen from stock lending. Number one, since you own the shares, you've lent them out to short sellers who then take them and sell those shares into the market, which causes a downward pressure on the price of the stock. So by lending your own shares that you own into the market, you're basically putting pressure in the downward direction on those very shares. That's because you had the shares, you lent them to someone, they sold those shares. So instead of you having those shares, now you just have an IOU. So that's the first thing that's kind of not great with stock lending is by giving those shares to stock short sellers, you put downward pressure on the very thing that you own. So that's good to know of. The second thing that happens is while the short seller has those shares on borrowing, they are required to pay any dividends that come back to you. So this isn't an issue if you own a big technology stock that does not pay a dividend. Then this really, other than putting downward pressure on your stock, it doesn't cause any income issues for you. But if you um, if you have stocks that pay dividends, these payments change the nature of the dividend to you. And so dividends have, in general, better tax advantages than miscellaneous income. And so it's just, you got to know that by loaning your shares out, you have this issue that comes up. And so basically the dividends follow whoever owns those shares. The short sellers borrowed them from you, they went and sold them to someone else, and so the dividend stays with the person who owns the shares. But the short sellers have to pay the dividend value to you, but they pay it back into your account in the form of miscellaneous income, line 8, substitute payments in lieu of dividends or interest. So how this hurts an investor is if you have a tax bracket system where your income that you pay would allow your dividends to have favorable tax treatment. So basically, a couple that's married can earn up to about $120,000 a year before any qualified dividend starts to get taxed. So you basically, like, let's say you earned $100,000 a year for your earned income from your job, and you had $20,000 in qualified dividends. Those qualified dividends kind of stack on top of your income, and because your earned income was $100,000, that'll put you squarely in the 12% tax bracket. But that extra $20,000 that you get from your dividends would be taxed at 0%. If you're in a higher tax bracket, like let's say you're in the 35% tax bracket, or some other, the next rate of dividends you get taxed at 15%, which is a lot lower than 22%, 27%, 32%, 37%. So that value of dividends goes all the way up to about $600,000, maybe $650,000 of your income that comes from dividends. So it comes in at a lower rate than what you would normally be paying. So if you're in, say, the 24% bracket, if that's a real bracket, you'd pay 24% on any earned income, but your dividends, you'd only pay 15% on the value of the dividends. So they're still tax advantaged when they come to you. And I particularly like master limited partnerships because they pay distributions in the form of return on capital, which is not taxed in the year that it comes to you, which has been really nice over the past couple years when I was still working as an engineer, because I had a really nice engineering salary. So all my dividends would have been taxed at some rate or another, but return of capital just didn't count in that year. So basically, I got really nice gains or returns without getting taxed when I had an expensive salary. And my plan was to use that income um, to, so while I was working, I still got revenue, but I just didn't get taxed on those values. And later in retirement, the idea is I'll be in a lower tax bracket. So if I sell my shares at a later time at an ordinary income rate, my tax rates are lower anyways. So that's how dividends or return on capital, qualified dividends or return on capital are favorable for your taxes. But because Robinhood lent out my shares, I got substitute payments instead of my return on capital or my dividends, my qualified dividends. So that added to my ordinary income. I got taxed more because of that. And so just know that when you loan out shares, particularly if you get a nice dividend on those shares, you may completely change your taxation on those dividends. And so that's something to really carefully understand if you're trying to manage your tax brackets. I always did. I always tried to figure out, which part of my income was in a higher bracket. And then I always tried to save more of my money to stay out of that bracket. So I would put more into my 401k or IRAs because I just didn't want to be taxed as hard. So that's something super important to know. To be a good dividend investor, just know having your shares lent out, or if you wanted to lend them out, can change the nature of your dividends and really affect your taxation. So this is an education type thing on stock lending, on brokerages lending out your shares, and how dividends get affected by that lending. So I thought I'd let you know this information that I learned this year to help this community. Like, subscribe, give me a comment if you knew or didn't know about this, and we'll see you later. Bye.